going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Scale News Update. If you're not familiar with the show, that's where we talk about the news topics that happened in the scale world of RC over the past week. If you enjoyed the Scale News Update, hit the like button now so you don't forget to later. And subscribe. Let's jump into this week's topics. First for this week, Element released a new version of the Enduro, the SE Sport Edition. This is a very cost-focused version of the Element. It runs a pretty much the same body as the very first one did. So when you look at it, it may not look like anything new, but it's a one-piece body rather than a two-piece. So there's no longer an option of running just the cab. And then they went into cost-cutting mode and they did a servo on axle mount. So no more chassis mounted servo or 3-link front suspension. They did bushings instead of bearings. They did plastic links. They did add some new things while they were at it though. They added front inner fenders, and they've got some new bumpers that fit this body much better than the original bumpers that came on the Enduro. They did redesign the transmission a bit as well. It's still got like the dual gear set inside so that it can have the overdrive if you would like it. It does not come with any overdrive now though, compared to the original ones which had a small amount out of the box. They did change it to a forward motor design. This new transmission setup also is now kind of a multi-piece design where the lower half of the transmission is also the skid plate. So there is no separate transmission and skid. You have to use it all as one package. The new tires are called Pin Seekers and their Elements logo basically arrayed around it. They are not the best looking feature of this new truck. They are they're very odd. Again, they went to a servo on axle, which got rid of their more expensive 3-link panhard mount. They also went with plastic links and bushings just to try and nail costs down as far as possible. The cost of everything is going up, and to try and keep an offering at that most attractive price point, they obviously had to do a lot of cutting to get down there. Element did sell Enduros for cheaper for quite a while, but as pricing has changed, it's obviously just going to be a thing of the past. Keeping attractive price points is important for the market, gives people an option when they walk in. I hate that they have to take away so many good features from a truck to try and get the price point down there, but it's just the pricing we have to deal with nowadays. Overall, I think the truck looks good. It's basically the same body and basically the same color. So if you liked the first one, you'll probably like this one. And if you need another one, you can get it a little bit cheaper. Speaking of Element, Night Customs just released the downloadable part set that you can print at home if you bought one of the new Element Bushidos. That's that little, well, it's actually it's not very small at all. It's actually pretty big. But if you have one of those and you want to get it all scaled out, head over to the Night Customs My Mini Factory where you can download that whole collection in one place. I'll put a link to that in the description below, as well as links to all of today's stories. Last week, Vanquish Products also released the straight axle version of the Builder's Bundle. This is the F10 straight axles, titanium links, VS410 chassis kit, the VFD twin, and 90mm S8E shocks, as well as incision drive shafts. Basically, full truck minus body, bumper, wheels, and tires. The Portal version was released a couple of weeks ago, and the straight axle version is available now. These are available only during the holiday season, so not going to be around forever. If you're looking to pick one up, do so when you see them in stock. Speaking of deals for the holiday season, also the VS410 Phoenix is currently being offered with machined gears for the holiday season, both the Portal and the straight axle. Limited time on these offers as well. And lastly, these new hats are available in both black and the Coyote Brown. The black is available in 2 sizes of the Flex Fit, the large XL as well as the double XL. So if you've got a big head, the double XL is a nice fit. Coyote Brown, only available in the large XL size. A new teaser from Proline Racing showed the return of the Sumo. Now, if you don't remember the Sumo, Proline offered it handful of years ago, 3-4 years ago, maybe more, 4 or 5. And it was a short wheelbase, Samurai or Suzuki Sidekick body. And it was a short wheelbase at the time. I think it was a 10-inch wheelbase body that would fit like the ECX Temper, or maybe a 9-inch wheelbase, somewhere down in there. Not super popular on the scale rigs. However, this one being shown, I can't tell 100% if this is the rear axle from the straight axle AR45s or if this is an SCX6. I can't 100% tell. Either way, I'll be interested to see the direction they take this for sizing. I don't think that it was super popular with the short wheelbase because it wasn't there wasn't a ton of platforms that were really made for that. And not a lot of people were trying to shorten their SCX up to those lengths. So I wonder if they're going to scale it up and kind of go the route that Element did. They scaled the body up until it fit a platform reasonably. Or if they're going to go scale it way up to an SCX6 size. I don't know. The details on the body look like it could be SCX6 size, but I have to think in reality, most likely it's got to be 10.3. I don't know. I'm interested to find out. In the hashtags of the post, they also had the BFG crawler, which they only offer in 4.7.5. So that makes me think it's normal 10.3. Or we're getting crawlers for an SCX6, in which case I'm all in. I'll be pumped. So fingers crossed. Next, I want to thank Ridge Wallet for sponsoring this week of the Scale News Update. I've been carrying a Ridge Wallet for a lot of years, and it's been my favorite wallet long before they started supporting the channel. But with that, it's a super compact wallet, holds up to 12 cards, comes with the money strap, or you can convert it over to a money clip version. Sold in a ton of different colors and styles. This is the forged carbon with Pacific gold flakes. A little bit of special flake in there. Adds a little pop of color to the forged carbon. One of my favorites. Also, check out the key cases. I really enjoy mine. Keeps pocket clutter down. If you're looking for something new or looking for gift ideas, definitely worth browsing their website. I'll put a link to Ridge Wallet in the description below, and you can use the code Harley10 to save 15% off through the holidays. Check that out. Harley10, link in the description. As always, thanks to Ridge Wallet for sponsoring this week of the Scale News Update. Horizon Hobby also has a number of deals going on right now. You can check out their pre-Black Friday sales where you can save over $100 on some of their kits. They've got SCX3s and Losi Baja Rays, some of the planes, DX5 radios, a ton of stuff to save money on. I'll put a link to the page that has all of the deals in one place in the description below. RC 4-wheel drive had some new releases last week. First one being some 2.2 fuel wheels. These are kind of a deep dish wheel that is kind of Brodozer style, specifically because they released some Brodozer tires. These are a short tire, like sub 4 inches, 3.5 or 3.6 inch tall tire to go on that 2.2 wheel. They are licensed Aturo tires, which is very fitting for the style that they're offering. This is an area that doesn't have a lot of options, so filling that gap makes total sense. Definitely not going to be the tire for everybody. Not going to see it in a lot of class 1 rigs, I don't imagine either. But if it's the look you're going for, I think they nailed it. What they didn't nail was some of their other releases. They came out with a bunch of adapters, just weird adapters I assume that they sourced from somewhere. Except they sourced some of like the weirdest combinations. Of course, they've got the Tamiya plug adapter with a JST in the middle. But then they also posted up their, XT60 Y harness, which can be useful. You can plug 2 batteries in parallel to an ESC to give you a little bit more amperage. However, they have the plugs the wrong way. So you'd have like 1 battery to 2 ESCs, which isn't impossible. It could have, but I don't think you're going to see that nearly as often as a standard parallel adapter. I don't know. Maybe they're just banking on them being the only ones having this. I'm gonna corner the market. Next, I ran across this radio from Hot RC. I can't find it for sale here in the States yet, but it's just, it's like fighter pilot style. It's got the, a standard trigger style throttle, but then all the rest of the controls are going to be basically done with your thumb. It's got like a joystick style for steering, a couple of other buttons, a 3rd and 4th channel, which are just push buttons, and some basic, adjustments available as well. I feel like I want to get this just to try it, just to see how weird or how natural it feels. I know a lot of us who play video games are going to be used to that, D-pad style, but whether or not you could feel like you would get the fidelity out of that for our type of running, who knows? But one of your kids, it may just be like second nature. I want to find one of these available just to try it out. I think it could be a lot of fun and just something weird to hand to somebody. Be like, here, try my truck. If I can find it available stateside somewhere, I'm going to order it. If it's only available overseas right now, maybe I'll wait a little bit longer. I cover releases from Furitech fairly often. This one was pretty disappointing though. This is a straight knockoff of the Proline 124 scale cliffhanger body. They call it Cliffy, but then they just straight ripped off the decal sheet. It still says cliffhanger right on the decal sheet. They just ripped off the body. Pretty disappointing from a company like Furatech. Not that with their background I expected a ton of like business morals, but you know, it's just disappointing to see a company like that just straight up copy. Kind of a bummer to see that one. Normally I wouldn't even cover it, but I cover so much from them that I felt like maybe it was at least worth pointing out. Stuff like that is just bad for the industry. For those of you interested in some of the scale comp stuff, I did release video from our local series that's kicked off last weekend on Monday. So if you want to go see some of the scale comp course running, go check out that video. I'll put a link to it below as well. And then livestream takeover this Wednesday. Matt and I will do our yearly Black Friday shopping list or Christmas list, whatever you want to call it. We put these lists together every year and they're often a lot of fun. So check those out. We'll have that on Livestream Takeover. And also maybe we'll try and get someone from the monthly Mayhem on the live stream as well. We'll see. And then Friday Night Live, definitely have something going on as well. Things have slightly come back to a normal pace around here. So catching up and getting back to a more regular schedule. But that's going to do it for this week's news topics. For this week's questions segment, last week we talked about what was your least favorite RC. And as expected, there were some pretty good rants on why people had a strong dislike for a certain RC they may have owned at one point. Found some pretty good ones. Sometimes it feels good to laugh alongside of the experiences that we've had in the past that haven't always been positive. But for this week, bringing it back to a more positive side, what's bringing you the most happiness lately? Is it this hobby? Is it a specific area of the hobby? You know, building, the modeling, photography, you know, enjoying it with friends or family, or is it completely outside the hobby? Has the hobby become a source of frustration at times, burnt out? It happens to us all. We all oftentimes have to take a step back from an area we've been hyper focused on and could be making us frustrated and losing the point of why you're trying to do it. And you kind of focus on a different area or something completely separate. What is it? I want to know. What's your escape? What's your happiness? Whatever it is. Put it in the comments below. Enjoy reading those comments every week. My favorite part of doing the Scale News Update. With that, thanks as always for watching this show every Tuesday. Hit the like button. Hit it again if you hit it at the beginning. Just go hit it again. Subscribe if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you see the Scale News Update every Tuesday when it gets uploaded. With that, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.